Hey, welcome back. We're here with another dose of the National Stearman Fly-In. And you know, everybody thinks that the Stearmans are a bunch of old people flying Stearman. What I wanted to show you this afternoon was a genuine cross-section of Stearman pilots that I've had a great time with over the last, I think I've been here 6 times, and I'm the newbie probably in this gang. And you know, just how it's handed down from family to family here, generation to generation, and just talk a little bit about what's going on. So Todd, you're the Patriot. Why don't you talk a little bit about your background and how you've got the family interested all in Stearmans?
Well, my dad was a fighter pilot in World War II, and then after the war, he got into light airplanes. And as a kid, from there, I soloed on my 16th birthday.
Wow.
And went on to college as a private and got all my ratings, and then got on with an airline. I was really lucky to get on early. I wasn't very old when I got on with a major airline, and I was very, very fortunate. And my dad, like I said, was in World War II, flew P-47s, got shot down, bailed out, survived the war, and that just instilled confidence and the tradition. And then our 2 boys, Blake and Brett here, my dad taught them, their grandfather taught them how to fly, and continued the tradition. And they soloed, both of them, on their 16th birthday, and went to North Dakota, and they taught in the aviation program. They didn't actually go through the aviation program at North Dakota, but they taught there, and then went on and flew regionals, and they're both on with a major airline now, and we're very, very proud. And that's 3rd generation, and so it's been a lot of fun.
So all the stuff you've gotten to fly in life, what drew you to a Stearman?
Well, we were at Oshkosh one year, and the boys were starting college, and they wanted a career in aviation. We wanted to build multi-engine time, so we were actually looking for a light twin to build time.
And, I haven't seen any twin Stearmans.
No. So we there was a Stearman for sale at Oshkosh, and got us interested in the Stearmans. And we didn't buy that particular Stearman, but we ended up. I got the okay from my wife to buy a Stearman, which is
that's important. We all have to do that.
Is not a time. It's not a multi-engine, but it's a fun airplane, and so we went that route. And the boys flew them quite a bit in college. I mean, we put 500 hours on a summer on a Stearman when they were learning how to fly.
Wow.
So that was fun.
That's cool. So how old were you when you had your first Stearman flight?
I was in high school when I had my first Stearman flight. It was a farmer out that my dad knew, had a strip, had a Stearman. Actually, I think it was one of John Moore's brother owned it. John Moore is a famous Stearman aerobatic pilot, and it was his brother's.
Yeah, he's more than famous. Google him, John Moore. Yes. You can see what a Stearman can do.
Yes. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's and then I flew J3s. I soloed on J3, took my private in a 170, all tail draggers, old school, and the boys too. They learned in a Champ, soloed in a Champ, and they had a lot of tail wheel time. So
Blake, when did you get your first? By the way, Blake lives right across the street from me in Mallard's Landing.
We're neighbors.
We flew up here together. It was kind of cool. We had 3 or 4 airplanes, right?
Very cool. I think 7.5 hours of flight time.
Yeah.
Up from Atlanta.
Yeah. When did you get your first ride?
First Stearman, my grandfather set it up for me the day I got my private. So 17 years old, did my private check ride past, and went around back to where our hangar was, and there was a Stearman sitting on the ramp there. Went for a ride and was hooked.
Wow. Wow. So you have 2 Stearmans in the family, right? They're right next to here to each other?
Our first one was over here. It's blue and yellow Army, number 72. Bought that in 2009. And then we had a good friend of ours, Jim Ratliff, build restored number 23, yellow 23. It's navy, and we bought that from Jim after he restored it, and I think it was 2021. So, and they're both ours. They both get a lot of time. So.
Yeah, Jim Ratliff is another icon
Yes.
in the
yes.
Stearman. On the radio engine noise and all the wind today,
yeah,
but that's what you put up with at Galesburg is radio engine noise all day long.
But we were lucky to have Jim Ratliff.
Yes.
We ran into Jim. We bought our first Stearman 72, and we were bringing it back from buying it down in Alabama, and we had to overnight in Litchfield, Illinois, which is too far from Galesburg, and because of weather. And then Jim and a couple other Stearmans came through, and they were on their way here to Galesburg, and that's how we befriended him. And he's been a mentor to us, and he was quite a true friend, and he knew Stearmans inside out.
Yeah, I wish Cal Tax was here. We'll get in later, but Jim Ratliff actually taught me to fly. Cal, come over here.
Oh, there's Cal.
Here's Cal. Cal and I got our Stearman together. Jim Ratliff taught us to fly it. And Cal also has a storied history. He's a very famous fighter pilot. At least that's what he tells us, right?
No, not famous, just alive. Yeah. Anyway.
So what's your background, Cal?
Well,
and what drew you to Stearmans?
Well, you and I owned our first Stearman together.
Yeah,
you know,
we did almost 30 years ago.
My phone here. Yeah, 30 years. That's about right. We bought it in '98, and
you almost run it into the ground.
You checked me out in the Stearman.
Yeah, that was the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's been a great experience. You know, one time we flew over to Peach State, I remember, and there was 4 Stearmans there, and every one of them was owned by Big Syracuse at one time or another.
There's 3 of them here this time.
There's 3 of them here this time. Yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
So anyway,
Cool.
It's been a good experience. It's been a really great experience. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's just really great. Brett, you got something to say? Like, when did you learn to fly the Stearman?
Well, I learned to fly from a very young age. Like my dad had said, my grandfather taught me how to fly, mainly in a bunch of different airplanes, but the majority of my time was in a rocket champ. Most of my time was that. And then, so then I got my instrument and all of that. I got that Part 61, and then went to University of North Dakota and did the 141 I taught there. And then I moved on to flying citations out in Indiana. And then I got hired on to regional, did the regional thing for a while, and then before getting picked up with the major airline. So it's been a really good time. I really enjoyed all of my flight training, especially the stuff in the Champ, and then eventually getting into the Stearman as well. So it's been a fun adventure.
Cool. So here's the wrapper on Stearmans. We're trying to get the message across. You're seeing today everything from fighter pilots, airline captains, a whole family here, 3 generations, as Todd said. This is not an old man's airplane. It's a lot of fun. It's probably the most inspirational airplane that you can actually take a ride in. So with over 1,000 of them flying worldwide still today, for those of you who are interested, I'd be willing to bet you could find one near you. And most Stearman pilots I know love taking people for a ride and sharing it. The history of the Stearman and taking veterans flying is one of the things we enjoy the most. Absolutely. I think. So anyway, thanks for watching, and go get your Stearman ride. And hopefully we'll see some of you here tomorrow.